You know, I make no big secret of the fact that I'm politically disenfranchised. In other words, I'm peed off with a whole lot of them. I think they've made a complete and utter Horlicks of our country, and it is fast going down the Swanee. If you agree with that, subscribe to the channel, let me know your thoughts, where you're coming from. Now, we don't have a lot with regard to, I don't know, artillery, I suppose is the word for it, what we can do about it. The only thing we really have, besides the unspeakable, is a vote in an election. People often say if voting made a difference, they wouldn't let us do it. That might be the case, but I've banged on about this for a while because I think it's important, and I think I've lost a few subscribers over it. If we don't vote, if we just stay at home, then the very small percentage of the electorate that comes out and votes governs our destinies. And then we see the same old coming again and again and again. Conservative, Labour, Lib Dem, all of the historic parties which we're used to seeing. No new faces, no new blood. And then in another 4 or 5 years, we'll be having the same conversations all over again. If you look at Rochdale, for example, roughly 60% of the people of Rochdale, or 60% of the electorate, didn't bother to show up and cast a vote. You look at Wellingborough, same thing, roughly 60% didn't bother to come out and cast a vote. These are disenfranchised individuals. Why? Why are they feeling that they just stay at home and don't vote? Now, if 40% of those people came out and voted, would it have made a difference? There's a very big movement in this country for I do not consent, or having some kind of none of the above put on the voting form. And people keep saying, well, it won't count, it'll be discarded as a sport ballot, and so on and so on and so on. People just stay at home and do nothing. One of the things I have a problem with as well, and I don't know about you, is the postal voting system in this country. I know the original idea was for older people, people with disabilities that couldn't get out, that wanted to vote, to give them the opportunity to do so. But I think that whole system is open to abuse. You know, you fill in your form and you post it, what happens to it then? All right, you could argue the same about the ballot box. You stick your X on the thing and shove it in the ballot box. Equal amounts of garbage could happen to that also. But what really happens to it, and how are they counted towards a result? Now, I've seen, to do with the Rochdale by-election, where we obviously know George Galloway was returned as the MP for Rochdale, a very interesting statistic in a couple of places. We know that he got just over 12,000 votes, and that's roughly 40% of the count, wasn't it? Which wasn't that big if you look at the population of Rochdale as a whole. It's over 200,000. Well, what about the postal votes? 2 people, and this has been fact-checked, have discovered that there was over 13,000 postal votes registered in Rochdale, and George Galloway gets 12,000 and something. Now, people are implying that those figures look a bit choice, a little bit dodgy. I don't know what you think, let me know. But postal votes, I just don't like them at all. I really don't. Let me know, you know, what your situation is if you vote. Do you rely on a postal vote? Do you think about them? Would you use them? I certainly wouldn't. I wouldn't at all. I think they're no good. And it'll be interesting to see with all these by-elections as well, what happens when it comes to actual election day, whenever Sunak actually calls it. Very worried man, that. Anyway, I'm nearly home, so thank you very much for listening. No, one of my videos should have just popped up now that you can look at. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. Toodaloo.